Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for HBAR. Now I need to update you guys on the last move as well as talk about my longer term view of where I think HBAR is likely to go. Now off our significant low at 3.56 cents, I have this as a zigzag A, B, C ending in a C wave diagonal. This area was very difficult. We've been able to navigate it pretty good, but it's been a very, very tough structure. But I have this as a W, X, Y, X, Z. I'll have to show you that. And from here, my expectation is we hold this level if labeled correctly. And our first target is the 1-to-1 extension where W will equal Y. W, X, Y. That target's at 17.81 cents. Now, if we end up doing something more impulsive, can I get this off the chart? Nope. If we end up doing something more impulsive, I'm going to update this count because I have seen this play out before in the crypto markets, but this is still technically valid, although I'll put very low probability that this is a 1-2, 1-2 with an expanded flat, in which case we can really thrust pretty aggressively. I'm not going to even put on the targets at this moment unless we really start pushing here. Now, invalidation of the 1-2, 1-2 would be at this pivot right here. It's very low probability, but I'm just making you aware of it because it is obviously not invalidated at 3.99 cents. So if for whatever reason we start impulsing here very aggressively in a short period of time, then we will consider that an option. But as of right now, my primary is we make a 3-wave move for a Y wave. All right, so we're going to talk about this correction right here. I literally just spent the last 40 minutes analyzing it, reanalyzing it, to see if I can make this into an impulse somehow. And it does look like it out on the daily, but I had a hard time with it because there's a lot of overlap. This area is very difficult, and I'll show you what I came up with here. Basically, after reanalyzing everything, the only difference is originally we had a WXY. We did call the bottom of the Y wave. Unfortunately, we only made up 3 waves, and we have a Z wave now. So just a WXYXZ. I did consider the fact, okay, could this be an A, B, C as a diagonal ending in a C wave? It's difficult because then this would be a 1 and a 2. You can't get a triangle in a wave 2 and a diagonal, so it would have to be a WX with a Y wave triangle. Pretty unlikely. And then we don't have overlap if this is a 1, 2, and this is our 3. Our 4th does not overlap with wave 1, which isn't a rule, but it just doesn't have the right look. You can see we're channeling more than contracting as well. So because of that, I added a X and put a Z instead of making this a diagonal. So if you're stretching, you can make it a diagonal, but I think this plays best here. And that is we have an ABC, X, A, B, C with a triangle B wave. We can have that within a zigzag. And then we had our ABC, ABC. Done. So down on the smaller time frames here, this was also a difficult count. The best fit for me is an expanded diagonal. Although I don't love the look of it, I just can't get 5 waves in this area. Lots of 3s. It makes the most sense if we were to finish here. And this one counts as well as 1, 2. This area was a little bit difficult, but we got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then we finally get our 4th wave and our 5th. See that overlap makes things very difficult. But we have come, I think, just past the 1.618. Yeah, and we're finding Support. Also note out on the daily, get rid of that correction for a moment. We hit the 1.618 extension from just our first pivot off our second pivot right here. And it looks like we're making quite an aggressive candle to the upside. So hopefully we can buy up pretty quickly, get a nice sideways consolidation in 5 waves. But it looks good for a potential bottom right at the 786 of the entire low to our W wave. So we'll see. You can see nothing's really lining up, but that's kind of been the nature of HBAR anyway. The important thing is if we do have a low here, the stops are pretty close. I do have a completed count as a WXYXZ, and my target is pretty high up here. So I'm not in this currently in a leverage position or anything, but there will be trade setups coming. Let's go down to the 15 minutes, see if anything's there as a potential bottom. It looks like the same as most other things, and that is that we have a potential diagonal in. That's all we have currently. I would label it like that currently. Not the prettiest whatsoever, as you can see, but we have ABC, 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 ABCX, ABC, double zigzag there. Yeah, not a big fan of this currently for any potential setups. I put my correction back on. Now, we'll see what kind of count we get into this 618. Go between linear logs. 6.63 cents is where I'm looking at, and that is the 61.8% retracement of this Z wave. So if we can get over this in a 5-wave move, find consolidation as a nice ABC correction, this might be an area I'm interested for that long. If you're more aggressive, obviously I have a completed count. You can put the stop there, not financial advice. Just if you're very aggressive, 1% risk, stop at that low. That's about a 7-to-1 risk reward currently up to that Y wave, so it's not terrible. But I prefer to wait on this one, get the 3, 4, 5. I play it much differently. If we get a correction like that, I have different strategies to get into that, which I'll talk about in the future. Right now, waiting for 6.63 cents and a break of this channel would be nice as well, especially if we can get up and above and find support above it. That would be quite nice for a potential pivot. But yeah, you got to realize when we get these WXYs like we did call that Y bottom in a 5-wave move, that you can get that XZ, right? Just keep that in mind when you see that 3-wave move. Remember, we were like, this is the best risk reward possible if this Y holds, which it was, because we were targeting much higher. Unfortunately, we made a Z wave. That's the fun of Elliott waves sometimes. At least you know it can potentially come, right? So just put on our second most important area as well. The 618 of the entire move is going to be quite important as well. Always a higher 618. That's our higher one at 12.96, but nothing to worry about at the moment. So if this does happen to be a diagonal and we have started moving, that's a pretty short retracement there. What did we get? Get a 236 on linear, yes. Yeah, I don't really want to label this at the moment. You can see it's too ugly. It's possible It's possible that this is a 1-2. We get our 3, 4, 5, but I'd rather see a little larger correction. Might not get that, but I'd rather see one before I get involved here. Got overlap there. ABC. This diagonal could even get bigger. So I would give it a little more time. But all right, guys, I'm going to be following this one again until we get a nice setup, and I'll make sure to update you if you want to subscribe and keep up to date with that. All right, guys, that's it for HBAR. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.